Welcome back to my interdisciplinary art studio. I am Deanna, a full-time working artist, and I get really excited to integrate new artistic mediums into my ever-growing practice. I recently taught myself Vintage Tufting and Punch Needle. It's a speed tufting tool. It's from the 70s. Speed tufting is a new and exciting craft, yet it has its origins in one of the oldest crafts known to man, the ancient art of hooked rugs. There are important differences. Hooked rugs are made by pulling yarn through a cloth backing. Tufting is accomplished by pushing the yarn through the backing to form the loops. Even more important, speed tufting is based on a speed tufting tool, new invention. With a speed tufting tool, you can create dozens of perfect loops a minute. And in the 70s, that was like, oh my God, that's crazy. That's so fast. But now, obviously, that is like a slower form of art. And I love slow forms of art, and I'm so excited to teach myself this. So I've already done one project. For my first project, I used the punch needle tool, wool yarn, duckbill scissors, and my husband helped me build 2 wooden frames, and I'll leave the link below to the video on how to do that. Then I used some mugs cloth and stretched it really taut, trying to keep that line nice and straight to kind of tell me that the warp and the weft were in unison. So yeah, just kind of touching it and making sure that tension is good. So I wanted to start with something really simple and really attainable, and something that would be really approachable for me, and just like an image that was just like fun and not necessarily as conceptual as I'm usually working with in my painting practice. So I started with a strawberry. We call it the flirty strawberry. I determined the overall composition and the general shapes that I would want to create. I drew out the image in Sharpie, and then I outlined all of the leaves first, and then determined where I would add some variety of color and texture within that. But I felt like starting with that general line was a really helpful guidepost for me. As you can probably tell from this video my husband took, I'm so unbelievably excited about this medium. I feel like it's a beautiful extension of my drawing and painting practice directly into fibers, where you can really play with yarn and texture and color to create really anything. So starting really simple with just a strawberry image was a fun way for me to really get to know the materials, get to know the process. So I've been very excited. Like a really good time. So this is the side that you would actually see. The back is where you do all the punch needle. I'm starting off with punch needle, and then I'm gonna do tufting. The biggest things with this medium are to learn the correct angle to place the tool, proper spacing, and yarn tension. So first of all, the angle. I'm not going 100% perpendicular. I'm going at about, I don't know, like a 45-degree angle. This is not only easier for your hands, but this makes it so the yarn can kind of push through and have a little bit of space to move. The other thing is spacing. So if you go too close together, there really won't be room for the loop to form on the underside. But if you go too far away, it will essentially pull the yarn out from the previous loop that you made, and you'll see this happen. Make sure also that the yarn is almost all the way to the edge of that tip, because if not, it'll be really loose. Make sure you're clipping as you go, and don't be afraid to stop and start. So what I mean by that is you can create a line for quite a while. Sometimes a continuous line can go for a very long time. And I'm kind of like looping around, and see there's a little bit of spacing in between. I wanted a really full image, so I left basically no visible space in between things on the back side of the piece. So the working side is the back side, but once this looked really good to me, I decided that was it. I wanted to leave it an organic shape, and this is how the front was looking. Very exciting. But if you took this off the frame right now, it would be really loose and it would definitely come apart. So you do need to glue it. So I got some carpet glue that you can get just from your home improvement store. I found this to be a really affordable way to get started with a new medium. It's really satisfying to spread this with the kind of glue spreading tool. I let this sit for a few days, and then I took it off the frame. Now, you could totally leave it just like this, but I really wanted to refine the image. So some of the loops will be different lengths, and you can kind of clip them and adjust them to your liking. It's kind of like carving. I'm a yarn barber. So let's say you want to like
because this is like all weird. It's like...
Wow. So you can get it the same height. It's all glued so it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, everything's totally glued. And then like, look at how these are like underneath. So if you wanted to like, this is why you have this. So you can like move it to the side and then make sure everything's good. And then you can like...
See everybody. What?
To finish up the piece, I cut about an inch off of the edge around the whole thing, and then I grabbed some D-rings and some felt to back it. I kind of pulled all of those edges in. I realized you don't really need the hot glue. You can just push it on. The carpet glue is so sticky. And then I added that to the back. You can hand sew it or glue it, and then I added little fabric tabs to glue in and stitch the lovely little D-rings so you can actually hang it on the wall. So I've been collecting supplies from eBay and going to Goodwill and finding really high quality stuff. So I really want to work as much as I possibly can with natural fibers. So wool specifically is great for this. Halcyon yarn, I went on a specific mission. I drove like 45 minutes to get this tool. If I could afford it, I would exclusively go to these small, beautiful shops. But I think just getting a few special ones is perfect balance, and then just thrifting the rest is a great solution. You can also order from yarn stores online, of course, but I think especially when you're starting out and figuring out what you actually need, just touching the yarn physically is so important.
All the yarn.
All the yarn you could ever want. I get every supply possible thrifted. I'll go to Goodwill, I'll get things off of eBay, get things at antique stores, and then also I will get scraps donated to me by people that know that I work with scraps. After my strawberry, I'm raring to go.
Yeah.
I personally love vintage things, and I'm really inspired by nature, of course, throughout my whole practice. But these beautiful textured objects, I feel like it's so fun to get to see both tufted items themselves and punch needle items, but also just various things you can find in an antique store to inspire you. And of course, going to galleries and things like that, looking online, but just seeing things in person and getting excited for what I want to fill the gallery and my home is the best way for me to get excited. And bringing a friend along is always the best part.
Put this in.
So cute. I would be amiss if I didn't bring you to a very 70s themed space with amazing tufted pieces. This is one of my favorite thrift stores called Spinning Head, and they just have tons of fun objects to just touch and look at. I get really inspired in here, especially for my fibers practice. I am really drawn to the 70s as an aesthetic, as well as the color palette, the textures, and the fact that it was a time where there was a lot of rug making and when my tool was created. I do these little day trips, and they really help me stay inspired across all of my mediums throughout my practice, and of course for things for my home. I had seen these right before I did my strawberry piece, and they obviously influenced what I ended up making. First step is just to figure out what the heck I'm doing. In general. We'll just see what happens. I have a few images I've been thinking about.
this, like a vintage 70s rug. Thinking about it in combination with my images, doing maybe some butterflies. I want to do like a bunny. I think it'd be fun to just do some like bag charms of just some like simple stuff, like a flower, a butterfly. Those can be just like for fun. They're all fun, but
when learning a new medium, start off small, even if your aspirations are really large like mine are. A little note on drawing out your image. I do suggest making little templates for yourself if you are not confident in your drawing, or if you're just really getting into drawing. I feel like that's a really great way to get started. Do a really, really simple image. If you are really comfortable with drawing and you feel confident that you can kind of just draw on it, I suggest using a Sharpie. That's what I've been doing and it's been working out well. I just have my image right there and then I just use a Sharpie. With my special scrap yarn in hand, I decided to make a miniature version of the same strawberry. Let's talk a bit about yarn. So I have been collecting yarn from doing weaving, from doing natural dyeing for a few years. So I have a pretty wide selection of textures. I primarily use natural fibers like wool and cotton, but I think that it's a very fun, diverse medium, especially when we get to the tufting portion, that you can really use any texture that you are excited about. I do think that thicker ones work best. Let's thread the punch needle. So you're going to need this little wire guy and you're going to place it behind, like on the back of it, through to the front. Push it all the way to the bottom so you can feel that little loop. Then you push the yarn through there. Now, as thick as the yarn is, as long as it can fit through, you're good. So you can add multiple ones. Then holding it like that, nice and level, pull it through. Then you're ready to go. Keep the tail behind the tool. Have it like behind. Now make sure nothing gets caught on this. If this gets caught on anything, on the little nails, on, just caught on anything, it'll pull it out. So be really mindful of that. And then at an angle like that, push it in. Make sure it gets all the way to that chunky part and stops there. If you do it halfway, it won't work. Then go a little bit forward. I like a few millimeters. It really depends on the thickness of the yarn and your exact tool. An inch forward, you'll be able to feel it. If it doesn't work, then you went too far or you went too close. And then you just keep going. And this gives you an opportunity to kind of use maybe what you maybe wouldn't have gone to use from another project. You only have like a tiny bit left. I feel like this would be such a great medium for if you crochet or knit or really do anything with yarn that you have like, I don't have a ton left and I'd love to be able to use it, but I can't make another sweater. Well, you could make a little strawberry or whatever cute thing you'd like. If you could make something with your scrap yarn, what would you make? What would you be excited to punch needle or tuft? Please tell me. I would love to know what projects you'd be excited to make. I try to make the yarn as like clean on the edge as possible so then it's easier to push through, but I still mess it up sometimes like that. There is definitely a learning curve to figuring out like, how is this going to show up on the back? Like, how is this specific yarn length and texture and thickness going to manifest on the other side? Just like any other medium that I like to do, I love being able to work on multiple things at the same time. And I feel like having this with multiple like little projects on the same frame is a really great way to do that. Because then I can be like, okay, this yellow is in this many places and I can jump around. I think is really nice. I'm starting, there's some dandelions in it, so I'm gonna add those. Oh, this is just so relaxing and fun. See if it gets pulled at all. See how there's tension? It will pull out what you did, or it'll make it like too long. So you have to be so mindful of that. The reason that the duckbill scissors are helpful is because you have this on one side and then this on the other, and it like pushes other things out of the way. So if you had regular scissors, it would just be a little trickier. So you can I find it really helpful. You can definitely just use regular scissors, little snips or something, but so far, you can see it, I can't see it. Everybody's like
Crazy. He does already kind of look a little bit like a dandelion. He's just like a little poof ball. Making tiny little cuties in the tiny house. That's so fun. I historically have made giant things in here, which is not gonna change today because I'm also gonna start a big project with my big frame. We'll do that in a little bit. I have a deep love of dandelions and have expressed them in several different pieces of work throughout my time as a painter. For instance, this painting, which is 10 feet big. Also, if you notice my cool necklace, this necklace, she calls them her fairy buttons. They're made by Forest Fairy. My best friend since I was 16 makes them. I like thought of you.
We should be able to use it to transmit a message to whoever.
I can modify
Brain damage.
how long it.
Appreciate receiving it. My wife and I have been married for 67 years.
I didn't want to deceive my husband.
I'm being brave. Let's try something totally new. This is kind of confusing because I don't have any visual directions. I only have this 1972 hand-drawn imagery. Oh, it looks like it's pictures. Have some black and white written directions. Okay, with a threading tool, let's just shuttle. Okay, pull it up, down, up, down, then there. Oh, she's very weird. Can I turn her? Oh, I think I get it. Oh, my. Okay, let's just see what's actually happening back there. Oh, it's so cute. She's so floofy. This is gonna be adorable. I'm just gonna fill in the background and then I'm gonna use the punch needle for like the small stuff. I did a very small experiment where I did some of it with the speed tufting tool, this length. I think if you bring it closer, so like adjusting this adjusts the loop length, and then this side with the tool, because I was just fine, because this is such a small image, I think it'd be easier to work with something larger, but like so different, so loopy, and then so close. I think what I might do is just pull this out so then it's consistent. Oh, my little tulip is going. I want to make this into like a little mini piece, like a little charm. Oh, that might be a little challenging. I'm gonna try something. So, push down, pull up, push down. That's a little bit far. See what they mean by speed in the sense that like you're definitely going faster than if you're using this little guy. That's adorable. Oh my gosh, I feel like that is really nice for like the border. I'm gonna leave it at that for now. I hope you got excited about this medium and saw how I just tackle something that I've truly never done before. I mean, you saw me literally do my first tufting little punch ever. I have a lot of plans for some bigger work and tons of little bag charms. I'm planning on making a bunch more of these and maybe putting them in my summer shop update. I just think these are so sweet and special to bring around with you while you're out and about. And I'm excited to share this again with you another time. Please tell me if you'd like a part 2. I'm so excited.